I'm really excited about creating two planted tanks today, but I can't do anything until the store opens. So, unfortunately, I don't keep any of the stuff on hand in order to create planted tanks. So, in order to create a planted tank, you need substrate, some sort of gravel to pave it over, and then I am going to make the rest of my tanks without water filtration. I really like the idea of not having the sound of water constantly in the back of my head. And for some reason, filters don't come with off buttons, like a lot of things in life. So, why did I title today's video this? Because it was something that popped up in the comments yesterday. That almost no jobs in America pay living wages anymore. I'd say almost 99% of jobs are just jobs. Pure, straight up, unadulterated slavery. And I think this channel has woken up, if not thousands, tens of thousands, if not the 1.5 million people that have come to this channel to look at what I say. And what I'm saying is, we don't need jobs. We don't need to work at Walmart. We don't need to work at the Home Depot. We don't need to work outside of the Home Depot waiting for someone to pick us up. What we need is a lot of money. Because unfortunately, in this world, everything costs more money than we have. If I wanted a new car, I can't buy it. Why? Because I don't have money. Hey Grim, welcome to the stream. Glad you're here this early. The stream is kind of catering more towards my European and New York followers. That's why it's kind of early in the day. Thoughts and prayers, exactly. So, we live in a world in which you can't afford anything. Whether that's an oil change, tires for your car, a bus pass. We live in a world where there isn't enough money. There aren't enough resources. Hi, Invisible Man. Welcome to the channel. And since there aren't enough resources for the poor, yesterday I was driving home from work. Grim, if I had to explain to you how stressful my week was, you wouldn't even understand. From call after call after call, from executives, from managers, from every place in the country, to the moment that I left, it was just one giant torture chamber where everyone ran straight at me and kicked me right in the nuts. And the worst part is you get to the end of the week and there's not enough money to do anything. That's the sad part. I have the hobbies of a fifth grader who still lives at home. That's what my life is like. Reduced to sitting at home, doing nothing because I have no money. Life is endless fees until you drop. And let's just hope you don't want to do anything, go anywhere. Be alive. That's probably the hardest part about being a person in this world, is that there's just nothing for you to do. Life isn't a gift. Life is a punishment. Life is the greatest punishment to poor people that has ever existed. Because if you're alive and you don't have money, you get to stay on the plantation until you drop. You're not going on any fancy vacations. I just ate ramen. I might as well have just eaten 2 fistfuls of dirt. And your life is very sad. That's the hardest part, is your life is incredibly sad. I sat up this morning till 4 o'clock a.m. drinking beer and staring at my fish because I didn't know what else to do. I just sat there, looked at them, moving around, running around in circles without a care in the world. The fish in the fish tank don't have to worry about getting up and going to Pound Town. They know that someone's going to feed them every morning and that someone is going to turn on their little light every day. And you can't just get off the road of poverty. You can't just say, you know what? I don't want this anymore. You're stuck forever. Wondering what I'm doing. I'm thinking of what to title this stream, and I can't come up with a clear title. Um, okay, there. I came up with it now. It just took me a second. I just woke up. I ate some incredibly low quality food just now. And there we have it. Yeah, I've been sick for 14 days in a row. I'll admit it. I drank a whole pint of cheap vodka till I passed out last night. Hey, Graham, I feel that. I drank and I drank and I drank and I couldn't get drunk because I ate. I had nachos at noon with my coworker. And so whenever you eat too close to your drinking time, the food absorbs the alcohol, so it's impossible to get drunk. That's why I refuse to eat most days because it makes my nights terrible. Well, that's exactly it, Invisible Man. It's like we don't want your jobs, world. No person on earth wants to work. Working sucks. It takes away your free time. It takes away your sleep time. It makes you anxious. It makes you depressed. And at the end of the day, you don't have any money anyway. Never too early to spank the hose. Shaking hands with the governor. It's what I'm all about. You imagine if they took away that ability? Alex Spikes. I almost bit it a few times while drinking. uh, well, I consider it the little death every night. MS, what's up, bro? I took the day off for to celebrate an extra day of Labor Day, or as I like to call it, Poverty Day. Now I just drinking a watered down Coke that's 3 days old, so it's all flat. And I'm waiting for the pet store to open so I can go do my my elementary school hobby to keep myself from going insane. Oh, yeah, and then I'm going, Happy Poverty Day, proletariat. Thoughts and prayers. Slave Day. I'm glad you guys are on the same page with me. Labor Day is just Slave Day. Because if jobs actually were real jobs, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be on vacation. A real vacation. You know, one where you get to go somewhere and do things and not think about your crummy job. That's where I would be right now. With the Victoria's Secret model, a dog, a cool car, a house that doesn't smell like butthole. Yeah, that'd be nice. They want me to work so bad, it's crazy. They don't want you to work. They want you to make them rich. Let's just face it, that's what jobs are. The word job doesn't exist in America. It's just slavery to make other people's lives better so they can afford that second mansion or third mansion, take that hot supermodel to the ocean and your yacht so you can continue making your yacht payments while the rest of us. This is what passes for a slave vacation. Sitting in your broken down, crummy enclosure with no lights on, no air conditioning, and just sitting here because you don't want to waste money on lights or air conditioning. You just sit here until Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., and then you go right back to slaving. You didn't have any real vacation. You just had a time where you weren't getting whipped as hard as you normally get whipped. Oh, you already got the L on your forehead, Grim. As long as you're born poor, you get the L by default. The internet complaint department. You will own nothing and be happy. Someone else will own everything and be much, much happier than you. That's the great thing about rich people, is that they feel like they have the same thoughts that you do. That they wake up in the morning just exhilarated to go to work, while you wake up every morning thinking of every excuse in the book not to have to go to work because you truly hate it. You hate work more than anything in the world because nobody wants jobs. Nobody wants jobs anymore because jobs are just building the pyramids. You work for 20 years, and then you slow down and they throw you inside the pyramid and you're now building material. Just like every other large-scale project on planet Earth. When the slaves can't work anymore, you become building material or become soylent green. You feed the worms, you feed the other workers. Oh, yeah. My favorite part about Gattaca is the end where he puts himself into the incinerator. It's like, you have more than enough of my body essentials. Here, I'm just going to put myself in here and turn myself into white powder. I entertain myself at work by thinking up creative, non-alive solutions. I've always said this, that when I worked at Walmart, if they had two doors at Walmart every day that you showed up, and one was to a wood chipper and the other one was to work inside, you wouldn't have any workers. Every single person would toss themselves inside the wood chipper rather than going to any job. That's how much people hate jobs. Jobs aren't real. They're the plantation of the modern day. Because if jobs led anywhere, everyone would get rich right away. You'd work a week and then take 3 weeks off. That's how a job should work. 1 week on, 3 weeks off. But what would we do without our slaves? Frank Rizzo. I love work. I want to work 7 days a week for 90 years straight. All right, Frank, let's put it this way. If my job was to bang supermodels every single day, I would be early and I would stay late and I would put in all the overtime that they wanted. I would work 24 hours a day if I loved my job. Unfortunately, it's the reverse. We all go to Pound Town and it's your rear that's taking the business end. And that's what we don't like because we hate going to work more than anything in the world. You imagine enslaving every single person on planet Earth, on the slave planet, and forcing them to work a crummy job that they can't stand for not enough money to live. That's what every day on slave Earth is. We're not living invisible, man. We're slaving. That's the problem, is the proletariat doesn't understand. You're not alive. Remember, a man chooses not to work. A slave obeys. What does that make all of us? Slaves. I want whatever you're huffing on. He's probably just smelling his own socks. I love the smell of my own socks. Strokes and cancer, my retirement plan. That's a hell of a plan, Alex. Even the bottom ring jobs used to pay enough. One of my family had a job at Walmart as a shelf stalker, had his own apartment with no roommates. I think my bootstraps broke. Grim, I had to bake my bootstraps in with my ramen to get a little extra protein. Based Bioshock quote. Does Fleece feel anything when he goes at it? Must he worn out by now? Fleece never gets tired. Fleece never sleeps. Fleece never finishes. That's the great part about Fleece, is he can go to town 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. He will never finish because he's incapable of finishing. That's the point of having a Fleece Johnson character in society. He can never do enough damage to make himself happy. He always has to hit it and hit it and hit it nonstop. That's his entire reason for existing. Sorry, he had his own truck and an apartment with no roommates. Damn, he had a truck? Now I'm jealous. Free food and I'll be there. The irony of working at Walmart is that they're surrounded by food. It may be crappy food, but you work in a place where you're not allowed to touch the food. More important than water, more important than breathing. Fleece Johnson never has to breathe. He never has to drink. All Fleece needs is your tight little rear. Fleece smokes while he's giving it to you. Fleece gonna give it to you. Oh my God, my watered down Coca-Cola today. If you guys could see how pathetic I look right now, sitting in Goodwill, torn up pants, no shirt, using an old Dutch Brothers cup as my cup for my watered down soda, sitting in the dark, hair all messy because I can't afford a haircut, and depressed as hell. Man, this right now, right from head to toe, I represent poverty in America. Shirtless, Goodwill pants, no shoes, unwashed, dirty hair, still have ramen on my chin from what I ate for breakfast. There's nothing in this house to eat. There's no light. There's no air conditioning. There's no hope. What we need is money. What we have are crummy jobs. This is no way to live. None of us are really alive. You imagine if all of us were just sitting around like this? Or if someone showed up at my door on a horse, put a lasso around my neck and said, "You're coming to the plantation to work today for free." Because unfortunately, we don't have enough money to pay you, but we still need you to go to the job. So we're just going to tow you to work, throw you on in the dirty field and tell you to pick the fruit. You guys may not believe this, but that future, that dystopian image I'm painting right now is going to become a reality as this country is going to face extreme food shortages because of the orange chimpanzee in chief. He's created a future in which you have no future. I got fired from my job because I was drunk texting. Oh, Alex. Has the ceiling come down yet? Alex, we can't share a brick of ramen. It's not allowed. Steam, do you feel like madness is setting in due to the doom? I feel like my psyche is fractured due to PTSD of my wretched existence. PTSD is where we all live as poor people. No person that's working a job right now has good mental health. Can you imagine that? Hundreds of millions of people all facing the same bad mental health because they have nothing to do. All they have to do is the McJob. Can you imagine if that was your only source of entertainment was your McJob? And make that a reality. Because we're not going on vacations. We're not going anywhere good. We don't have enough food. We can't pay our bills. We barely pay our rent. And when it comes to what we do during the day, we just sit here. When we can't go to the McJob, we just sit here in the dark, staring at the screen. It's all we do is we stare. Slaves had houses. We're worse than slaves. Orange juice, I incredibly agree. Jobs used to mean something. Now, going to your job doesn't mean anything. The pay's too low, the hours are too long, and at the end of the week, you don't have anything. Work truancy is coming. They'll frame it as patriotism to work. That's funny that you put it that way, Internet Complaint Department. I was watching this segment about what they did after they brought the Mexicans over to work the fields in America, and the government tried to frame working in agriculture as a patriotic duty. So they would get high school kids, preferably football players, and tell them that it was their patriotic duty to work the land as a team. The farmers didn't like this. They didn't want middle class football players working the farms because that meant that they were going to have to upscale the job, right? They needed to have actual living conditions within those places. Mexicans don't care. Immigrants don't care. They'll sleep on the ground, in their cars. They'll sleep anywhere. But if you try to bring Americans into the agriculture, they will demand unrealistic work conditions and wages, things that farm owners will not provide for workers. And let's just extend that to every other single job in America. Walmart doesn't want workers. Jack in the Box doesn't want workers. Taco Bell doesn't want workers. Amazon doesn't want workers. Think about the job that you're allowed to touch. They don't want you there because if they wanted you there, they would provide living conditions for a human being instead of an unhoused slave. I grab food from the church sometimes. Alex, I've heard that the food places, the food is so low because the people that would naturally donate are not donating anymore. So the cost of food has begun to, or the cost of food for the middle class that normally donates has diminished to the point where some of the middle class is shopping in, I'm not even going to call them 99-cent stores, dollar plus stores now. Thank you, Invisible Man, for your donation. I really appreciate it. Chat, thank you. Thank Invisible Man for his generous collection plate donation. I will farm if they let me deer hunt. They're gonna hunt you, Alex. You're gonna be on the menu. We need money to worth more, goods, services to be cheaper, rent to be 20% of our incomes. But that won't happen. I'm balling. You feeling any better, man? I've been sick for 14 days, still congested. My throat's still sore. My body feels really heavy today, and that's why I'm not at the plantation today. And I'm extremely depressed about Slave Day on Monday. Slave Day. Truly honoring the American worker. Sean Breezy, America is turning to a literal prison. Agreed. We're all invisible. Grim, as long as you're not good looking, successful, and rich, you don't matter. The proletariat has been invisible since poor people were invented. Oh my God. Jake, if I could smack my dad's wiener at the moment that he began to get too happy, I would just take a machete to it. I don't want to be here. I didn't consent to being here. I never wanted to be born to Susie Rottencrotch or Johnny Sixpack. I hate them for it. It's been nothing but pain and suffering since the moment they decided that they needed to create children. The children of poor people are the true losers of this world. I like this comment. Slavery implies ownership, which implies responsibility. Corporations used our legal system to get the benefits without the downside. Internet Complaint Department, do you ever wonder why we have names? There's no other animal on Earth that has to have a name other than human beings. And our last name implies ownership, whether that's to your parents' parents, or the corporations. Names imply ownership. That's why we name things. That's why we have things like Robert Son. Every last name that ends with the word son implies ownership. Robert's son. Whoever's son you are, that's your slave owner. I wish there was new land to go take over. Me too. I wish that we could just all go, all the proletariat could get on one giant raft and we could just go to the middle of the ocean and just stay there until rich people died off, and then we could come back and then just live. AJ called it Prison Planet. Do you feel like an alien because the people around you don't seem to get it? I feel like some people just don't understand that they're slaves. That there are people that go to jobs and smile. Like when I worked at Walmart, every day that I worked at Walmart, someone would come up to me and say, Millennial Steam, you don't seem like you're happy here like the rest of us. Why don't you smile more? This used to happen to me at Fry's. It's like, why do you always seem so unhappy? You're a freaking slave, man. And they don't get it. They think that your negative attitude and your pessimistic view of life is your problem because they can't see the bars. Some people convince themselves that they're free. When I asked ChatGPT to create the image that you guys are looking at, I asked it to create a background for this channel for the prophet of poverty. And this is exactly what stupid people see. They see an American flag and they say, at least I'm free. Free for what? To go to a job? Is that what you're free to do? Invisible Man, every person's last name is a slave name. The only free person on earth is a person that's born with no name. Because that implies that you're born to be free, not born to do the work for someone else. MS, I still don't get what we complain as one group, but when it comes to unification, people hang their heads in shame and begin to kick rocks about as if nothing was happening to us at all. That's the great thing. I said this is how I closed one of my videos this morning, or this week, excuse me. I said we're all sinking in the mud together. The proletariat, we're all sinking into the mud, and we know we're all going to become homeless. We're sinking into the mud when all we have to do is hold our arms together and we can all live. But instead, we choose to sink into the mud alone, believing that our personal failure is our personal responsibility. It's not true. We don't need to sink into the mud alone. You are the many. They are the few. They enslave us. But we don't have to sink alone. Just because you hate poor people doesn't mean you can't help poor people. Look around. The entire world is in the mud. And the few people that keep pushing our heads down in the mud, they're not the solution. The job creators aren't the solution. As much as they'd like to pitch that, they're the ones that are pushing the individual heads of the proletariat into the mud. And they enjoy it. Because not only are they pushing your head into the mud, they want you to eat the mud so that they don't have to feed you. Eat more mud, proletariat, because you know you like it, just like you like your job. And remember, smile and be grateful to have anything. You're not free. Again, look at the background that ChatGPT generated. This is how most people see themselves. They surround themselves in the flag and say, I'm free. Yeah, you're free to work at McDonald's, you idiot. If every job in America is McDonald's, are you really free? No, you are not. It's because there's no unifying force or incentive to unite. You think that drowning in the mud isn't enough of an incentive to unite? You feel it every single day that you come home to these unhuman conditions. Every proletariat in America should realize that they want you to fail. The system is hardwired to make everyone homeless. It's not an accident that there are hundreds of thousands of homeless people out there. Homeless people that have jobs. Internet complaint department. I was working on upskilling my AI skills last week while I was sick. I spent all day working with ChatGPT 5.0 model. So I created a couple of bits of software last week using the AI, just stuff to analyze my content and try to make certain that I'm not going too far in one direction or another, but just small little pieces of software, nothing major. I can't think of a way of making money with AI other than this. But so far it's just a trinket. To divide, too antisocial, too selfish, too dumb. That describes the proletariat in one sentence. Yeah, no incentive or reward, but it's slavery for life. It is Comic Spawn, and no one gets it. Everyone that I talk to that's a normie believes believes that we're going through a rough patch. Really? A rough patch, America? I don't think so, man. I think this government's getting ready to instill martial law on us, and we're just going to stand idly by. I don't see anyone pushing back against these, bringing the military to the streets. Yeah, people ask that all the time, especially over a holiday weekend. Everyone comes back all fucking, excuse me, all blitzed out of their mind because they got one extra day off. And they're like, oh, wow, it's so amazing. I have Monday off. You're like, are you retarded? Like, sometimes I just want to knock on the skulls of the proletariat. It's like you got one day off. You get a handful of days off from the plantation every year. A handful. And you're going to lose your freaking mind over a day off? Like, what are you, a child? Are you a kindergartner? Are you a 30-year-old man that has the logic of a 6-year-old? And that's really what they expect of you. The logic of a 6-year-old. Oh, I'm not in detention today. It must be a good day. Well, women, since women are resource intensive, women have different ways of dealing with reality. You're never going to meet a woman that doesn't want resources. She wants resources to have children. She wants resources to house herself. She wants resources to be able to create nesting. And this is something someone said to me recently, is that women want to nest. And that means that they want to be comfortable with whatever they have around them and they don't want to worry about anything. Men, on the other hand, well, if you're ugly and you're poor and you're short, you got a lot of other problems. There hasn't been a real revolt in 300 years. That's because they're counting on you to be too tired from the job in order to see that there's anything wrong. As long as you have the just in time paycheck to get you through to another pay period, somehow that's supposed to be enough. I was made to feel like a grade A retard by society. Society's retarded. Oh my gosh, Mello gets so mad at me when I use that word in public. Pearl coin going straight zero like a lightning bolt. When you're bored, you lose. I hit the wall day one was born. I feel that, especially when you're born into nothing. Like the day I was born in a barn, I imagine, on a farm in the middle of nowhere. Cold January night. No hospital, no nothing. Just straight into the dirt. That's how I came into the world. No running water, no electricity. Just boy meets dirt and pregnant teenage mom. Internet Complaint Department says you might be able to make software for content creation and sell it here. Hell, I'm a content creator. That kind of thing might be useful. Definitely a market for it here. Thanks, Internet Complaint Department. So as long as people have their distractions, there won't be change. As long as people have Netflix, they'll be too busy watching Netflix. The novel Bell Curve explained it all. Few people are, but don't like them. I have Monday off, which is one day I don't get paid. Yeah, Internet Complaint Department. There's a downside of holidays. You don't get paid. You swore a mess. That's 20 credits. Don't get me started on the 3 seashells. Going over public holidays. Imagine gooning over public holidays. Yeah, I know. It's so terrible. And yes, I bit my tongue for swearing. I'm probably going to get demonetized on this video, if not already, for that. Normies are retarded. They sure are. And there's so many of them. Like, I have this friend that embodies the normie attitude. Like, she gets so angry at me when I'm negative about life. And she's just like, you got to stay positive. You got to think about all the good things. And I tell her, look at my car. Look at that piece of crap I drive. Do you think any person who drives that car is a happy person? And she's like, well, things will get better. And I'm like, that's the first piece of crap car I've ever been able to afford in my entire life. That's the pinnacle of my existence, is being able to drive a car, not having to walk to work anymore. Susie is a luxury that I can't afford. None of us can afford Susie. I'm not stupid enough to fall for that, Susie. Susie hopes that someone will fall apart. Will fall for it. Come get some fresh pink taco. You get too close. Oh my God, I can smell the trout from here, 3 feet away. When it comes to workplace lies that we are told, one is the fact that there's actual political policies to restrict farmers from producing an overabundance of food, also policies to restrict buildings. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I don't need nothing really. Men want resources too, but mainly to do things, build stuff or break stuff with pew pew, broom broom. Are you, Internet Complaint Department, are you talking about building an island with all kinds of forbidden fruit on it? Is that what men do with their resources? Because I know a certain name that thought that was a really good idea, and he had a lot of rich friends. My little girl is asking for money right now. There goes the rest of my parole pay. That was the first question I got asked this morning, Marty. Millennial Steam, there seems to be no Millennial Steam money in my account this morning. It seems a little low on funds. Millennial Jesus. If I ever have to rebuild this channel, that's what I'm going to rename it. Millennial Jesus. Americans will revolt. Speaking of AI, showrunner is definitely going to displace Netflix. Community written shows and movies with AAA production and AI. I have never heard of this. Thank you, Internet Complaint Department. If someone tells me to be positive, I think of the Ren and Stimpy clip. I was nice today. Switches. Susie plus Suzuki Esteem. What a great life. Suzuki's Esteem. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, there's definitely sickos that do the island harem too. If it were up to all men, we'd just have a harem of women. Fight the power. Fight the power by urinating in public. I'm all for the MSJ as a rebrand. Millennial Steam Jesus. Oh my God, you guys are nuts. Oh my goodness gracious. I wish I could show you guys my ghetto aquarium. So last night, while I was incredibly intoxicated, I started taking apart one of my aquariums. And I took apart my aquarium and I put it into a 3-gallon bucket that says the Home Depot on it. So now I have an aquarium light over a 3-gallon orange bucket. Why did I do that? It's called alcohol. An aquarium and a 3-gallon bucket. Millennial Samaritan. I like that too. And instead of being the good Samaritan, I'll be the millennial, the bad Samaritan. I'm the guy that pushes you down and takes your wallet. How about millennial Luigi? JR says, MSJ was kind of born like Jesus too, in a barn. You need to keep pushing the narrative harder. We don't need jobs, we need money. It's actually one of the last things I thought about before I passed out drunk last night. Is that a person of interest reference? Millennial Samaritan. Oh my God. Thoughts and prayers, Invisible Man. Thoughts and prayers for the proletariat. Oh my God, you guys are so wild. St. Luigi, pray for us. Oh, St. Luigi's probably getting plenty of the good stuff behind bars. I'm sure he's in heaven. He looks forward. He tells Fleece that he misses him when he doesn't see him. Special church in full session. The boy's 11. Sage. Hey, Sage, I haven't seen you in a while. There's quite a few people I haven't seen in a while. Dee Dee was here last week. Core function of society fails and people get hurt. Thoughts and prayers. Get back to work, grunts. It's 8 a.m. Where are your nuts right now? Where are your nuts? They better be working hard. And by that, I mean in a vice grip. Because the only way to motivate the proletariat is by putting your nuts onto a car battery and just zapping you into a smiley face. Preach, Reverend Steam. You guys are so crazy on here. It's like some people in the world actually acknowledge that they're poor. See, that's the thing that I don't get. As much as I've been doing this channel, because I've been doing this channel again for 20 years, a lot of people will not acknowledge the fact that they're poor. Like, what's wrong with you? Do you look at your paycheck and think this is enough? Yeah, the car battery's eviction. I thought you were going to say the car battery's an addiction. I was like, whoa, you're into some crazy stuff. Been looking for a 6-inch pipe at work lately. Been looking for a 6-inch pipe. That could be taken a lot of different ways there, JR. Yeah, we're all proles. Yeah, you know what the proles don't need? They don't need jobs. Proles don't need jobs, which is a great thing to put on a t-shirt. Proles don't need jobs, they need actual money. Because money buys happiness. Money buys Susie Rottencrotch. Money buys a sandwich. See? See how much more we need money than jobs? I'm jealous of Mountain Man. Is Mountain Man what we call it? Is that what we call our junk? I call him Mountain Man, and I shake hands with Mountain Man every morning. He's more like Hill Man or Bump Man. Mountain is an exaggeration. Government poverty equals destitute. Oh, it sounds about right. Sounds about the right size for the equation. No, the guy that lives in the forest. Okay. I thought it was the guy that lives down there in your pants. Valley Man. Oh my God. Valley Man is what you call it when you don't even have anything. You just have a valley between there. Valley Man is what you call Susie Rottencrotch's nether regions. The saying money doesn't buy happiness is BS. I'll tell you what. Tell anyone that's living on the street that they don't need money. They just need happiness. It's like what I was going to say earlier. I was driving home yesterday, and there's this homeless woman who's always lingering in the general area, in this 1.5 mile area. And I'm driving past her, and she's digging through the dumpster, right? And I'm right behind her in my car. She turns around, and she looks at me like, hey, what are you doing in my kitchen? That was the look on her face, like, don't judge me. I'm looking for food in the dumpster. Mind your own business. And I'm like, oh my God, lady, here's $20. Take the money, walk across the street to the grocery store, and steal some food. Like, that's the kind of loyalty there is in some people in our society. She literally has nothing. She's digging in a dumpster, and she still believes in obeying the rules and not stealing from the grocery store. That's the kind of indoctrination our society has over the proletariat. Just because we gave you a job and you failed doesn't mean you don't have to obey society's rules. That's absolutely wild to me. How you can have that deep, profound nature pushing people all the way to the brink and still having them obey. More than the Grand Canyon for Susie. Oh, that's terrible. I have to decide what I'm going to do. I guess I'll just play in the dirt today because I don't have much else to do. There's no funds for real entertainment. Isaac says, "Hey, bud, great video. Would you prefer $300 a week and universal basic income or $300 in a part time job you dislike?" Well, $300 a week was what I used to make working at Walmart for 30 hours a week. So you tell me, what am I going to buy with $300 a week? Average rent in this part of the country is $2,300 a month. Average rent, one bedroom apartment. What am I going to do with $300? The money ain't worth anything. Remember that video I did a few weeks ago? Is the money worthless or are you worthless? That topic came straight from ChatGPT. When I create these videos, I don't create the titles, guys. I don't create the content. I just react to it. This is ChatGPT telling us we're in the deep doo-doo right now. This channel isn't my unique thoughts. This channel is created and produced by ChatGPT. It knows how screwed you are. The title, "We don't need money, we don't need jobs, we need money," didn't come from me. It was a comment that was left, and ChatGPT just took off with that comment. Because anyone who understands the value of money in today's current environment understands that what we're getting paid doesn't equal life. In fact, what you're getting paid right now is the big thumbs down for life. From 2020 to 2023, our dollar lost 20% of its purchasing power. I 100% believe that because you can walk into a grocery store right now and the prices of everything inside that grocery store doubled. The pay for that worker that's standing behind the counter did not. Haywood, my first apartment was paying $500 a month for a one bedroom in a nice area next to a park. 7 years ago, the rent in the apartments in my old apartment complex was $500 a month. Fast forward 7 years, and it's $2,300. How do you justify that? Imagine this. You're making $23 an hour, which is way more than what the average person works. And in order to pay your rent at the average apartment, making $23 an hour, you still have to work 100 hours. That is 2.5 weeks of your $23 an hour job just to pay your rent. Now imagine you're making $16 an hour and look at that equation. 60, 70, 80, 90% of your entire monthly income going just to rent. Not food, not transportation, not leisure, not savings, pure rent. That's the place we're at right now. From 1913 to 2025, the dollar lost 98% of its purchasing power. Oh, that's an ugly statistic. Ugh. That made me clench my rear hole. But it's so true. A milkshake used to cost 10 cents 100 years ago. Now people, like for instance, Mella was here on Sunday. For some reason, she must have pooped out a quarter because there's a quarter sitting on my couch cushion right now, and I'm going to leave it there until she comes to pick it up. And yeah, it's just going to stay there because it's money under a dollar, even a dollar. People won't bother to stop and pick it up. I've seen the same quarter or 50 cents. I've seen change sit on the street, and I've passed it day after day after day, wondering when someone would pick it up. It's not even worth the effort to pick up coins anymore off the ground. I think we're all going to have to get used to dumpster diving soon enough. JR, I think we're all going to have to get used to doing a little bit more lifting at the grocery store. Because I've even met people who are at my level of income who are turning to the 5-finger discount on a regular basis. The last 3 or 4 times that I've been out with a friend, she just quietly, we were at the mall about 3 weeks ago. She just took a pair of socks that she wanted and she just put them under her arm and she walked out with them. I was at the grocery store. Same friend, just grabbed something off the shelf, put it in her pocket. I was at Walmart 2 days ago, and there was a girl walking right at me, and I saw someone just take something off the shelf and put it in her pocket. That's what's happening in our society right now. My rent is $900 a week in Australia. What? $900 a week? What is mine? Mine's $550 a week, and that's high. Today, a milkshake costs $6. Not without the tip. The other day, I went to the coffee shop and I ordered a large iced tea. The large iced tea was $6.99, and the beautiful girl behind the counter was smiling, asking me if I wanted to give her a tip. I drove away from that business with a $10 iced tea. Why? Because it's embarrassing not to tip a person when they're smiling at you and you know they rely on tips for money. It's so unnerving that every place you go to has a tip. Like you literally have to tip a person to hand you something. And when you don't tip them, it makes you feel guilty, and they obviously look at you as a cheapskate that shouldn't have come here anyway. If you can't afford to tip, don't go to their business. That's what I've heard from every single person that relies on tips for money. Oleg writes, I'm tired of motivation nonstop from all over. TV, people, work. I hate the keep trying thing, the toxic positivity in our society from people that don't have to really believe in it, but preach it. Could easily manipulate cryptocurrencies to pay out from the stock market for universal basic income. Oh, cryptocurrency, the bane of every poor person's existence. How many rooms apartments for 2,300? One bedroom apartment. One bedroom apartment for $2,300. Average rate in Arizona. No, I haven't seen that movie yet, JR. The movie In Time. No, I don't really watch movies anymore. It's too depressing. Cosmic spawn that leads to hyperinflation. My property taxes for a townhouse in the Midwest are now more than my rent used to be for an apartment. Yeah, you can never really own anything in this world. Yesterday, I saw this older couple walking down the street. I had to be in their 60s, right? And they were both really well marbled. And they were holding this large white sign that said, "We lost everything in a fire last night when our trailer burnt down. Please help." I was like, you're going from living in your trailer to living on the street overnight. Why? No insurance. Let's see. I found $20 just sitting on the ground in public. I found $20 a few times in my life. I was riding my bike across this parking lot going over to the Kroger's one time, and I'm like, what the? There's a $20 bill on the ground. I used it to pay for beer instead of stealing it. Accessory. Nifty 50s restaurant in Abington Township, Pennsylvania wants $10 for a milkshake. I'm telling you, man. When you can drive to Taco Bell and spend $20 on a value meal, and this is usually what I get. I get a combo meal, which is about $13 to $14, right? And then I get two extra tacos because I can't get full off of a standard one item, one drink, and chips as a side. So I always get myself two extra tacos at Taco Bell. That's $20 for Taco Bell. Yeah, everybody asks for tips nowadays, even a cashier. Like the cashier at the gas station is asking for tips, man. And I mean, I don't tip. Sounds like blackmail to me. Well, that's the problem. It's like if it was some big old fat dude, that didn't matter. But when they put a cute cashier and she's just wearing that like crop top and she's got the big brown eyes, everything about her is whatchamacallit, is like giving off this aura of, you better tip me. And then you don't tip her, it makes you feel bad. Like, I know that I shouldn't, but it makes me feel bad when I know that pretty people asking for tips, and then you don't tip them, and then they give you that dirty look. That's the thing I hate, the dirty look for not tipping someone that depends on tips. Tips, customer subsiding, bad corporate wages. Well, I mean, it's either that or food drives for the employees. I hate toxic positivity. Every time you walk into a Walmart, those workers are oozing with toxic positivity. They're wearing a humiliating uniform while saying stupid things, and the things that they won't say out loud, they put on their uniform. I hate when corporations write slogans on their employees' uniforms because they know their employees hate their jobs more than anything. Morty Theon says, hell, a dumpster dive now. Been doing it since 2012 and sell the junk online. I'm a junk man. That's my other parole job. Morty, I tip my hat to you. More power to you, man. Turn junk into money. There's a school of thought that says your poor reinforces the conditions your conditions in your life. Plus, America paints poverty as something shameful. How do you paint something shameful when everyone's poor? I don't get that. The default condition of most Americans is poverty. I remember this news agency was interviewing Trump a few months back, and they asked, President Trump, how do you feel that there are more people living in poverty now? And he's like, I don't care. He doesn't care if you're poor. He just cares about whatever the hell he's doing today. This government doesn't care about poor people. And you're well aware of that because of where you live and what you eat. When you have to wake up and eat ramen every day like I do, it reinforces that poverty is okay. Internet Complaint Department, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate your comments and you taking the time to come by. Disconian Mall. Is that where you work? I hope not. I hope you're not working at the mall. God, I hope you're not working at the mall. Have you Googled one-bedroom apartment? Because I'm seeing $1,500 to $1,800. Look up average rent in Arizona. It all depends on where you want to live. Like, where I live, it's kind of expensive to live here. But it's close to McDonald's, so that makes up for it. When did this all change? I could have sworn life was abundant at the early 20s. Was I tripping? Life's never been easy for me. Yeah, the food is getting smaller. Like if you walk into any grocery store and you look at the jars of mayonnaise, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the price keeps going up for the smaller jar. Life got harder because of greed. Greed makes the world go round. Some retro guy writes, I get job offers in manufacturing for the same wage I could make at McDonald's, sometimes less than what people make to bag groceries or work a register at Aldi's. It's insane. The job market is nuts. I'm at the point where I don't feel bad of women at all. I don't know. I think it's just natural for some people to feel bad for women. What about tainted tip jars? What is that? They black out the tip jar so you can't see if there's anything in it? That'd actually be pretty cool. If you hate toxic positivity, they never work for Amazon. Just don't work anywhere. They expect you to show up at work feeling happy. Trump bump. People who still don't understand that both the Democrats and Republicans have been bought and paid for. You're a fool. That's why I don't believe in either side. Hi, MS. Working full time today. We'll listen in. Hey, Doug. Thanks for stopping by. I was just doing something to kill off some time while I go get some supplies, some hobby supplies to do my fifth grader hobby. I'm planning on replanting some plants today with some fresh soil and some, what do you call it? Some fresh gravel. So I gotta go get some soil and gravel in about 20 minutes. And I'm gonna do that for maybe an hour. And then after that, I'll just sit here. Who knows what I'll do at that point? Probably nothing. Probably make videos. Who knows? Anyhow, guys, I've been on for an hour this morning. This video was very, very helpful to me to know that there's so many of you out there that feel the same way. Doug, sorry you stopped in so late. I would replay the live stream from the beginning. There's a lot of interesting talking points in there. I gotta take a dump, get a shower in, and hopefully get some planting materials to see if I can kill the pain of poverty, loneliness, sadness, and depression all at once. I ended up drinking till 4 a.m. So, all right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for continuing to watch the channel and for listening. Don't give in to don't give in to toxic positivity, because at the end of the day, it's not helping you.